we were looking to get someone else on this episode because this right here. This is a game I've been waiting for all season. Last year obviously Florida beat the goofy out of it. Well, not really. I mean, I still feel like we put up a good fight there. But
it's been. You always talk about how if we would have played JT, we would have won that game.
Yeah, and our season could have been.
Our
season could have been sort of saved because. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bama had gotten too good by the SEC championship game, so I don't think we would have, beat them again. Honestly, they probably would have embarrassed us. But I guess it's better for not. Yeah, we would have made it, and it's. I thought it was going. I think where Georgia's headed because we've seen some memes over the week that had us dying, but we'll point those out in a minute. But like, I like you think of like Ohio State and Michigan. Like that's supposed to be this like applauded rivalry, and yet Ohio State dogs them every single year. And I think that's where Georgia and Florida's headed. I think Florida will get lucky every now and then, and I think it took a lot for Dan Mullen to really get that win. And I don't want to hate on Florida. I am a Georgia fan. I'm sorry, but I don't want to hate on Florida. But I think that's where this rivalry's headed. We got to pull up that. We got to pull up that thing we saw Barstool post. But Florida fans are down bad this year, man. They don't know who their quarterback. Florida fans are having.
I didn't know what you're talking about. That was so funny.
Yeah. Florida fans are having the exact same season that Georgia had pretty much last year, maybe, I think. Could we say last year? Except it's just not as bad because, we're not losing to Kentucky and
we lost what? Let's see. We lost the Bama game.
Yeah, we lost
the
to Florida
game.
That was it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. We lost 2 games last year.
This is about to be a 4-loss Florida team, bro.
4 could be 5, bro. You got to think they got a bowl game. They'll probably play somebody decent. The sad part about it is they're not going to get a good bowl game either. Like this season is pretty much done for them. I mean, if they beat Georgia, if they miraculously win this game on Saturday,
they go to the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, they'll go to like the Outback Bowl or something. And
the Belt
what's
Bowl,
the Outback Bowl? That's against a Big Ten team, right? So they'll end up going against like Iowa or Penn State or something.
They can go to the Belt Bowl against an ACC team. I don't know if it's called the Belt Bowl still though. That's that game where Nick Chubb went stupid against.
That's their bet. That's their best bet.
I'll say the Outback Bowl is the best bet, but anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where this Georgia-Florida rivalry is headed. It's just headed towards pure domination. Florida lost a 4-star commit today, and guess what? He'll be in Jacksonville this week, watching that game. And he decommitted, I think, yesterday. Julian Blackman or something. I forgot his name, but it's also looking like he's headed to Georgia. He's from Texas, so it's between Texas A&M and between Texas A&M.
I know that fan is at home crying.
Yeah, he lost another commit that's thinking about going to Georgia.
To give everyone context, we'll probably. I don't know if he's gonna put it up on the screen, but there was a post on one of Barstool's pages, and it was a 24/7 sports account. Like it was like the Florida Gators 24/7 sports like recruiting page, and a fan put a novel of a comment on there talking about how how Florida loses recruits while Georgia just gains 5 stars no matter what. And then he was like, I don't even know why I have this account anymore. It was so funny. You'd have to read the whole thing to just start laughing about it. Someone else said the Florida Gators are about to beat the 8-4 Gators. That junk is so funny to me.
8-4, the frauder Gators. What'd you say?
The frauda Gators. The frauda Gators. Oh my goodness.
It's
Florida's it's just, I don't know how Jordan is sponsoring this team, honestly. This is just
I told you this before. It's still Florida, and the sad thing about Florida is they're literally a coach away from being great. The thing is their problem is literally the fact that Dan Mullen just doesn't know how to recruit. Ty Grantham is not a good recruit. They've got 2 good cornerbacks on that defense, and guys will talk about, oh, these guys are in the SEC. They got some big physical guys. Yeah, but they're not. They're just not versatile. They're not good. Florida doesn't have depth, and Dan Mullen is not a coach that's going to be able to build that SEC depth that they're going to need to be good. Look at Florida last year.
You definitely not going to get the defense, like the depth on the defense used when you got Todd Grantham as your defensive coordinator. You got to let that man go. Like the person that we was talking about having on the podcast was a friend of mine from work. He's a Florida fan, and I pulled him aside and I talked to him about Florida. This is before I asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast. He of course said no. He had some things going on, I guess. But he He said, for one, Emory Jones is just, he's throwing picks that are just stupid. It's not even that, like, he can throw it. It's not his fault. They're all his fault. And then number 2, he said he don't know what Todd Grantham has over Dan Mullen, whether it's blackmail or they're just really good friends. But he said Dan Mullen needs to get rid of Todd Grantham. It's just that, I mean, everyone in the country knows this. He got rid of him
last season. I mean, the defense was atrocious when their offense was hanging in heights.
That's when it was worse. I feel like their defense has gotten. I don't even know if their defense has honestly gotten a little bit better. I think it's legit the exact same. It's just that Todd Grantham isn't catching as much heat as he was last year.
They just went against the worst rushing offense in the SEC. I'm talking Vanderbilt exists. Everyone exists, and then there's LSU. LSU has the worst rushing offense in the SEC. Well, probably not anymore. And they put 300 on the ground on this Florida defense. And you know what's funny? The runs were literally just straight up the middle. So just imagine what Georgia could do. Remember, we were cooking them on the ground last year. First play of the game, Zamir White, 75-yard touchdown. That brings me to this next point. Let's look at Dan Mullen's team that beat Georgia, right? I'm not gonna say finally because he's only been in Florida 2-3 years now. Look what he needed. He had Kyle Trask playing out of his mind. If we really want to say it was Kyle Trask, because we saw him in the bowl game without his weapons and he didn't look good at all. You needed Kyle Pitts to disrupt that defense. Tony was a dog as well. I ain't gonna sleep on Tony because Tony was good, I think. He just didn't really usually show up against Georgia. But Tony was a great wide receiver. He worked, and you had a formula going there, and you had Dan Mullen's play calling, which is very good. That's what it took. You needed generational talent at the tight end position, and you needed a top wide receiver in the nation, a first round prospect. It's gonna be a while before I feel like Dan Mullen can put something like that on his team again. Now, like I said, I think their best player on their team is Kyer Elam, cornerback. I've been looking at this guy since he was being recruited. He's a dog. He came straight to Florida. He dominated. He's dominated since, and I think he'll be one of the guys Georgia needs to watch out for. But respectfully, I don't think Florida's going to beat Georgia again for a very, very long time. And I mean, it's okay. It's okay for that 247 guy to say what he said, because I'm like, truthfully, he sees where this team is headed. Like last year, Florida fans thought, oh, Dan Mullen is that guy. He's getting it done. Even though they lost 4 games last year, he's like, Dan Mullen could be that guy. We beat Georgia, so that's a bonus. It gives us a chance to compete. But you look at this year, you realize that Dan Mullen's just not a guy that's going to recruit you the depth that you need in the NCAA to beat teams like Bama and Georgia. And you lost by 2 points to Bama. Bama's really not that good this year.
You said Jacob Copeland was out, didn't you?
This week?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever said that.
You said one of Florida's top receivers is out. I forget who you said it was.
No, I don't.
But either way,
I don't know.
Either way, this is I'm looking at, like, as y'all know, I use ESPN for everything really, and I'm looking at the Georgia Florida little, when you click on the game, it gives you like the matchup predictor, the stats. They're giving Florida a 20% chance to win this game, which is, it's Florida, but what I'm saying, I'm not really worried about it. But you can scroll down, you see the last 5 games. Yeah. Georgia's obviously 5-0 in their last 5. Florida is 2-3 in their last 5 games, all being conference games.
Yeah.
And if we really want to say something, in my eyes, they're 1-4, because the score doesn't say it. But if you watch that game, they really weren't beating Tennessee that whole game until the very end. That Tennessee
I'm not going to do that to them. Respectfully, Georgia's been losing at halftime. We were losing at halftime to Arkansas last year. I mean, it says a lot about the team, but I'm not going to hold them against it. But like, again, like this Tennessee team, like, they're 4-4. They, their only losses are really ranked teams, if we want to be honest. So the Tennessee team doesn't look that bad, but it's Tennessee. They had everybody leave their team. They had a quarterback competition in the midseason. And honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, that's honestly Florida's offensive problem right now, is that they have a quarterback competition, and Dan Mullen, I guess he's just like, I'm not allowing it. Let me tell you something I heard Dan Mullen say, and this is actually a fact, and it just made it kind of go through my head. A reporter asked Dan Mullen, because yes, I watched the press conference. A reporter asked Dan Mullen, he said, "Why do you think Anthony Richardson comes in and he's able to just, he's able to open up the downfield area with the ball?" And he's like, "Well, teams expect Emory Jones. They don't prep for a deep ball, because keep in mind, Emory Jones can't throw. He's a runner, right? So you stack the box." But then you switch in a guy like Anthony Richardson. Exactly. So then you bring in a guy like Anthony Richardson who can run and still have that deep ball. We weren't prepared for that. Hold on. Whoa. And then stuff like that against LSU happens where, you got 4 straight touchdown drives. He also threw a pick in that game. I think 2 interceptions in that game. So hear me out, man. I think Anthony Richardson, I think Florida fans are going to be let down. Well, no, they're not, because I think Anthony Richardson will improve. He's gotten a lot more play time against starters than Emory Jones did at this point of his career. Because remember, Emory Jones sat on the bench for how many years, and then you just throw him into a starting spot with a brand new offense year one. What do you think he's gonna do? Huh? What was your plan here?
I'm gonna be honest. Because yeah, he sat on the bench and he did get just not really projected into the starting role. I feel like that's where it's really misled us, and we knew Kyle Trask was leaving. That was very obvious. He was a Heisman contender. He wasn't going to win it, but he was a contender. Right. But I feel like once that season ended, Kyle Trask, everybody declared for the draft. Everyone knew for Florida, they're like, Emory Jones is going to start. So Emory Jones had a whole offseason, spring game and all, to get prepared for the season. And he comes out here and throws 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he's the leading rusher of Florida, which I'll give him that. But I'm not trying to trash Emory Jones. I'm just saying he did have the time to prepare for this starting role. And I'm not saying you didn't say he didn't, but I'm not.
That's the thing, though. I'm not blaming Emory Jones.
I'm putting that on the paper. But I mean, I can see what you're saying, that they prepare for Emory more than Anthony. That's why Anthony Richardson looks like he should be the starter. But I'm also gonna say, yes, they do prepare for Emory, and then obviously whenever you put a different quarter, as a Georgia fan, I know when they put a backup in, everything goes wrong because you're not prepared for the backup.
Yep.
But Anthony, I feel like he's the quarterback that honestly the Florida Gators need. And I'm not saying that because Emory Jones is trash. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying Emory Jones isn't, because look, they succeeded last year with a pocket passing quarterback.
Correct.
I'm not saying Kyle Trask is a pure pocket passer, but Emory Jones is a runner. Anthony Richardson is a pocket passer. He might have legs. I don't know. I really haven't watched Emory Jones play all that. I've seen the highlights, but Anthony Richardson, he can open up the field, and he can honestly open up your run game better because he has such a good deep ball, just like how Mac Jones did for Bama. People were prepared for him, but he was still good because he could just open the field. Granted, it was Alabama. He has all those targets. Florida doesn't have those targets. But I mean, you have Jacob Copeland, who is a great receiver, and your rushing game honestly isn't all that. The Florida Gators rushing game is not all that.
Respectfully,
for being honest.
I'm gonna tell you the problem is no team in the NCAA. You'll never see a team do this again, and I'm gonna put my stamp on it. You'll never see a team win a national championship with a quarterback who can scramble but can't throw.
Yeah.
You got to throw in this age of football. No football program. The thing about Lamar Jackson, and they didn't even win, right? The thing that made Lamar Jackson so good is that he also had a deadly deep ball. He can move out of the pocket, extend a play, throw it. You won't, with a guy like Emory Jones who you're scared to have throw the ball. Oh, let's just make him run. Who do you think that's going to work? Georgia's really going to expose.
That's the key thing right there is you're scared your quarterback is going to throw it deep. Mm-hmm. That's the main, he's a quarterback.
Yeah, and that's how Todd Monken views Stetson, because he doesn't really he never let Stetson throw a deep ball in the first half. Never. It's always the second half where he's like, well, we got our defense has helped us to this lead. Now let's see what you cook up. And then he'll launch a 60-yard, 50-yard touchdown bomb. Remember, Stetson wasn't doing this last year. Remember last year I was telling you about how Georgia had no deep ball, no explosive plays on offense. It was all break. It was all yard by yard by yard by yard. The thing about Georgia now is we're getting those big gains. And I think Stetson has really developed his game
we talked about
a
that
lot.
before.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We needed that big play for passing game really factor because we always had the big runs.
Yep.
But like I'm looking at the stats. Like obviously still got the ESPN pulled up. I'm looking at the stats. And Stetson Bennett is 57 for 82. So he's throwing 82 passes.
Correct.
Almost 1,000. He's 4 yards off 1,000. So we'll give him 1,000 yards. And he's 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Emory Jones is throwing 176 passes for 1,300 yards, so 300 more yards, with 10 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind Stetson also didn't start like 3 games.
Like Stetson didn't start the whole season, and that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to say Emory Jones is trash. I'm really not trying to say that. I'm just saying I feel like if you put Anthony Richardson in, your passing game will be a whole lot better. Your rushing game will be a whole lot better. I mean, yes, Emory Jones leads you in rushing yards. To be honest with you, he's not Lamar Jackson, so that is not good. If it was Lamar Jackson where he's being a top passer in the nation and a top runner, that's great. Heisman winning campaign.
Yeah,
but Emory Jones is not like that. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm telling you right now, whenever he gets drafted, if he even gets drafted, when he gets signed to the NFL, they're going to want to move him to wide receiver or running back. That's just how it is. And that should really just show you right now that this man should not be the quarterback of your team. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't be a quarterback. I'm saying he shouldn't be the quarterback of the Florida Gators because that is not what they need.
It's not what they need.
They need that pocket passing quarterback.
Offenses are getting too good. I mean, look at Georgia. We've abandoned the whole run thing.
I'm going to be honest. Defenses have been getting too good for this.
Yeah. I mean,
because I'm going to tell you right now.
They're getting worse. Georgia's the only team that's still like, let's play defense.
The only thing that Emory Jones, like the only thing I'm worried about this Florida game as a Georgia fan is Anthony Richardson. That's really the only thing I'm worried about.
But that's
we're going to contain
point.
Emory so good that they're going to put Anthony in, and Anthony's just going to light us up. But then, like you said, I feel like you're really about to say this, is we're probably going to prepare for Anthony Richardson.
Kirby already said it. He said we're going to prepare for both guys. So you're in trouble. Whenever whatever quarterback runs out in that huddle, we're prepared. If Anthony Richardson steps in there, we're going to be ready for a pass. The thing about, Emory Jones, I know they're going to try to dial up a bunch of trick plays. And I think Kentucky, they did give them some board material that they might be able to look at. And Kentucky ran a lot of that, this way, left, right, you know what I'm saying? So, and it helped them. It took them 21 plays to score, but it still worked. And I think Florida will try to pull that out of their bag. And look, respectfully, and then Kirby's already said it too. He said, how do you prepare for a quarterback who can run and throw? He said, well, you do that often because so many teams use it. And I'm like, yep. I mean, it's that simple. I think we're really about to show Florida what the future for I think we're about to show Dan Mullen what the future for this rivalry is. And it's so funny. I'm laughing here because I'm on Barstool Florida's page and they posted a picture and they're like, Georgia Hate Week starts now. And this guy goes, every week is Georgia Hate Week. And he goes, except when you're 4-3. And another guy says, he says, no, I honestly don't want to talk, any mess because they're about to embarrass us. And this guy says, I'm not going to say anything about Georgia. Posting this embarrasses me knowing we're 4-3. So, I mean, it's like, I respect Florida fans for still doing, the hashtag beat Georgia, hashtags, but there's a lot wrong with your school at this moment, and I think it also has to do with recruiting, and I think Dan Mullen is not going to be the guy for you. And guys are like, oh, Dan Mullen's going to LSU. Why would they hire Dan Mullen? Why? What has Dan Mullen done at Florida that's telling LSU we need to hire that guy? Do you know, Cameron?
I don't know what drugs USC was on when they thought Mike Tomlin was going to go there.
Yo, you saw his video. He was not having that.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys asking Sean Payton this? Are you asking Andy Reid these questions? I was like, I don't know what you meant there, but he's speaking facts, man. Come on, bro. I told you, man, coaches aren't just wanting to go from the NFL to college. It's just not a thing unless they're not doing good. Urban Meyer, now that's a guy I
did tell you that Joe Brady could have been hired, and then when the rankings, the little what is it? The odds came out. Joe Brady was like 2 or 3 on the odds.
I mean, leaving the Panthers, that's not too big of a deal, so I wouldn't be against it. Not to mention, he's not a coordinator. He's got the same position just in the NFL. So, I mean, I definitely could see that happening. Shouts out Georgia though, man. We up. Florida looks to be heading down. So, yes, sir. Looks good to me.
Florida hate week. No, I'm just
drop a. Yeah, one thing I feel like we should talk about because we don't want to skip this, but I'm pretty sure JT was announced as fully healthy, and Kirby said, we're just gonna see who practices the best and put him in there. And the guys are talking about, hey, if you take Stetson out, it's gonna mess up the chemistry. But respectfully, dude, I don't think JT being out all this time is gonna slow anything down. I do think it's smart to slowly ease him into an SEC matchup. So I think Stetson may go out there for the first 2 drives and seeing how it goes.
So you're saying Stetson starting?
Stetson probably should start.
I'm gonna say Stetson starting as well. I think we're gonna let him play like a first, like you said, first couple drives, see how it's going. Yeah. If we're beating them by a lot, we're probably gonna leave him in for a little bit longer. But if score is still probably 0-0, we're gonna put JT in.
0-0. Florida's defense is historically terrible. Honestly, with Stetson, we're putting up 40 regardless. With JT, we put up probably 50 on this team. I'm being completely honest. The one thing that scares me a bit is their pass D. Once again, they got 2 good guys on the outside. But I feel like we should run the ball down their necks non-stop. And Kendall Milton's out for a long time, so we don't know when he's coming back.
The funny thing is their rush defense and total yards allowed. Their rush defense is better than their pass defense for yards allowed.
Oh yeah, this is about to be a barbecue. Not to mention, don't forget, man, they beat us last year, and Kirby loves revenge games. And I think he is about. And keep in mind, we got some former Florida commits. We're gonna have 3 at this game this week. And you want to sit here and tell me that you think Kirby finna go easy on these boys? Yeah, we're scoring.
Florida kind of folded. This was supposed to be our 4th ranked game in a row.
Yeah, we could have used a ranked game.
Secure this number 1 position for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do got it secured, but it would have made us look a little bit better.
Tennessee look like they want to step in the way of our greatness. And we need to embarrass Missouri too, because for stealing Luther Burden from us. So we're gonna have to embarrass them. And Charleston Southern, man, that's gonna be a tough matchup. I've been looking at some of the film, and those guys are dangerous. So we got to keep an eye out for them.
They looking dangerous. Who you give better odds to beat us? Tennessee, Missouri, Charleston Southern, or Georgia Tech?
I got to go with Charleston Southern, man. I mean, those guys are good. They got prospects, offensive line, defense. So that's what you're going to hear Kirby say game week. Those guys are so athletic up front. Man, Kirby, stop. Just tell the press we're going to beat them by 60, man, and move on. Tell them we're going to beat them by 60 and move on, man. I really think Georgia scores 50 here. I told you, man, I want this to be complete domination. And I've been telling you how bad we were going to beat this Florida team before they lost to Kentucky. Right after the Bama game, I was telling you how bad we were going to beat this team. And now that they're 4-3, everybody's like, oh, Florida's not that good. Yeah, we know, bro. We know. You guys look at final scores and you go, okay, Florida's 4-1. Oh, they lost by 2 to Bama? Bama's not that good. There's really a storm coming, man. Week by week, Georgia's just going on a humble tour. We had to humble Arkansas. Look where they at. 4 straight losses, or 3. We had to humble Auburn, the most magical stadium in college football. Humbled them. Kentucky, we might win the SEC East. Humbled. Florida, we gonna humble you.
To be honest, man, we humbled Clemson too bad, but they ain't even got up from that.
Yeah, well, we left some pudding on the table for Clemson. We dropped them boys off at daycare. It's funny because like 2 weeks later they almost lost to Georgia Tech. That's how bad we did them. We gave Georgia Tech a new rival. And it was funny. I was telling you, talking to me about Wake Forest and all that, and I was like, oh yeah, Daddy, Clemson's taking a year off, which I do think Clemson will be back, but Georgia's gonna leave a print on your team.
Them Demon Deacons is 7-0 though.
Demon Deacons, man, them boys dangerous. 50. Somebody said if Army would have won, it would have been the biggest military accomplishment for the United States in about 50 years. I think it was Uncle Lou. It was Uncle Lou on YouTube. I know you know who that is, but he said yeah, it'd have been the biggest win for the military in about 50 years. was like, come on.
No, I think it was either Army or I think it was Army.
They were playing
got
Army,
beat
yeah.
like bad. Army just got beat
Army.
bad.
It was like 70-56. It wasn't that bad.
No, like it was no wait, it was Army, wasn't it?
Wasn't
I
Navy?
need to look up this.
Because Navy just lost by 7 to Cincinnati, the number 2 team in the nation.
It had to be Army. It had to be. It
Last
was
week?
yeah. It was 70-56, and like someone posted it, and they're like $600 billion budget, and y'all allow 70 points for this defense. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh man, it's hard to
so
say,
funny.
yo, you're gonna score 56 points and still lose by 14. That's sad. But I mean, that just shows a lot about Wake Forest too. I'm like, hey, they got a great offense, but that defense, ooh, you can't stop Georgia Tech, you in trouble. But yeah, man, that Georgia Humbling tour, it's gonna be in Jacksonville this week. I've been waiting on this one.
Can you? I wanna give you a little. I wanna before we end this, like, because we're probably about to end this right now, but
Okay.
I want you to try to guess the passing yards the whole season for this Army quarterback.
Under 100.
It's not under 100.
Okay. I don't know, 300.
It's 227.
Oh my God. I mean,
He's a QBR of 50. Oh my goodness.
how many picks?
How many picks? Oh, it didn't even say. Let me see. He said
Probably
he had
has-
3 touchdowns.
Probably he has no picks then. He don't throw the ball
No,
enough.
hold on. Let's. I want to see this.
I don't know if he's gonna have any interceptions.
No, yeah, no picks.
Yeah.
No picks.
Probably just those like little slants.
They have played 5 quarterbacks. And they've thrown 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. They should throw the ball more, man. To be honest.
Ooh wee, man. The
Anyways.
season is in full function. It's exciting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, yeah.
This is a weird season. We said this whenever it started, that this was going to be a weird season, and it sure is. It's crazy.
Very
I don't
interesting.
think you would have told me Clemson would have been unranked. Cincinnati would have been the number 2 team in the nation.
Clemson's like 4
Michigan
and
and
4.
Michigan State would be in top 10 matchup.
You wouldn't have been able to tell me that Clemson was gonna get dog handled by Pitt, man. Pittsburgh, dude. You wouldn't have been able to tell me that. You wouldn't have been able to tell me that Georgia was gonna beat Bama by 20 in the SEC championship. This has been Sports Junkies. Kid, you got Cam. Till next time, guys.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see you soon.
Peace out, bro.